back, everyone. How do you like streams most days of the week, during the weekdays at least? I know I haven't got tired of it all. Actually, we made some really good content this week. I got some pretty good clips. I was working on that this morning too, doing some thumbnails. Had to spin up the thumbnail wheels again because yeah, I took a break for a while, then came back, and just there's so much to talk about. Even in the market conditions being as crazy up and down as they are, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So welcome to the show. If you're new, I'm Max, host of the RHMax channel, and lots of fun stuff to talk about. A lot of cool founders in the ecosystem. And just today, I had KG on the show a while back, creator of Internet Money, one of the founders of that project. And we talked about speculation around Richard's wallet, and if that's going to happen one day. And then I know there's some other wallets and other types of things floating around the ecosystem too. But Internet Money is the one that they shipped. They have an app out on the App Store and everything else. So I wanted to kind of do a technical deep dive in a lot of different directions on just wallets in general, mobile versus browser versus hardware and stuff like that. Kind of dig into Internet Money and figure out some more about it. So let me say hi to the chat real quick, and we will get into it. Rocky911. He posted this 3 minutes after noon, which is when the stream was scheduled to start. So if I'm getting the hint correctly, it means I was late again. And that's why I just want to post this here. If I schedule a stream, I'm on island time. I'm on like baby island time, where plus or minus 15 minutes of the stream. So I actually start early before, not too often, but I do so every once in a while. So that's just keep that in mind when I schedule a stream. Sometimes my day goes in different directions, so I'm not gonna like prioritize streaming over everything else in life. It is secondary to many things. However, do want to create good content, so I will be here eventually if I schedule a stream. Very rarely am I like 30 minutes or an hour late. So I try not to do that, but it's life. Okay, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. I know there's a Twitter space going on right now, so we may have a limited number of viewers, but share the link, tag us on Twitter if you would like to get people involved in learning more about crypto wallets and Internet Money project and security aspect too. We're gonna dig into security today. Should be fun. Without further ado, welcome back to the show, KG.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, we got all 6 or 7 people right now. Hopefully, number will go up at some point, but if it doesn't, whatever. Like I was telling KG that sometimes, depending on the time or other things going on, I only get a few live viewers. Sometimes I get 50, sometimes 100, sometimes up to 200 or even more. When after PulseChain launched, it was going nuts for a while. Felt like a bull market for a minute, and then now it's just kind of hit and miss. And but a lot of people hit the replay game. A lot of people will come back and watch it later. So I get a lot of views from that. So it should be fun. I think the information will be distributed. I have no fear of that. But yeah, man,
we onboard and educate one at a time. So to all 8 people out there, wherever you are, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. It'll go up. I think number will go up. Don't worry. Yeah, man. So we got a lot to cover, and I want to go for maybe an hour or so. But I want to start with wallets in general. Founder of a project. It's always interesting to talk to people who make things like this. What can you just kind of set the stage too? Like, what are the different wallets, mobile versus browser versus hardware? Why did you decide to create one? Like, what are the different? I know onboarding for PulseChain is a big deal, but like, what are the different types people are exposed to out there, and why would they choose one over another?
Wow, that is many questions in one loaded question. So, I guess we'll start by what inspired us to go down this rabbit hole, and if you go back, if you or whoever watching, and I'm pretty sure you were, but in the early days of PulseChain coming into existence, there was a PulseChain Telegram room, and it was 24/7, 365. You had people in there all the time. Well, after the PulseChain sacrifice occurred, it's like collectively we all had this realization that like, oh wait, things need to be built on this blockchain. Right, like that also has to happen. And so what you started seeing was all these individual teams come together and identify their skill set and start to talk about, hey, I might do this, I might do that. And so we dipped our toes in those waters. At one point, we thought we were going to build an Oracle. We just really wanted to build, but we ultimately decided to build the wallet because it resonates with our skill sets as people in that we are educators and communicators by trade. And it's such an important thing because the wallet is the introduction and the ship to navigate the crypto waters. And so we found it very important that in this blockchain that we believed in and wanted it to succeed, and us being educators and communicators, it made sense for us to build the thing that people communicate to the blockchain with and make it easy and approachable. And so we were just really inspired to bring that to the chain. And now the wallet is multi-chain, right? It is a MetaMask replacement. Anything you do on MetaMask, you can do on the Internet Money wallet, but the home base is PulseChain. So that was the inspiration first. And then as far as what makes the difference between a mobile and a desktop wallet, so we actually have an Android wallet, iOS wallet, and a Chrome extension. That's where you can download our wallet. And effectively, what a wallet is, for those that may or may not know, is just a front end or user interface to interact with things on the blockchain, right? That's basically what it is and what you do. What makes a desktop wallet versus a mobile wallet different? Well, what language it's written in, what coding language it's written in, right? Not English, Spanish, but
yeah,
that's really it. And how it's formatted to fit that particular device. They're effectively are the same thing mostly.
Yeah, and why would so it sounds like we got hardware wallets and different stuff too, and there's different ways to implement wallets. It sounds like you guys got a browser extension and a mobile app both. Is this more of just so you're not really going after the hardware wallet, not that space. It's more of just like MetaMask drop-in replacement for to get at the first thing that people see, as you said. That's kind of like the market you're going after.
Well, we are not building a hardware wallet, but we do support hardware wallet connectivity on our Chrome extension. So right now you can use your Ledger and your Trezor on the Internet Money Wallet Chrome extension. And we want to expand that to other hardware wallets. And we also want to expand that to mobile hardware wallet functionality as well. But that's the first step. Right now you can use Ledger, Trezor on Chrome extension. So we will become more robust from the support. We've kicked around the can. Oh, maybe we'll build the hardware wallet, but if that happens, that's like so far down the roadmap. It's not even real right now.
It's hard. It is hard if you've not seen the. I'm sure you've seen all the Ledger and Trezor and all the security stuff that happens with that. Like even building even having a software wallet is no easy feat for security and otherwise. But a hardware wallet is like next level. It is very hard to keep people from dumping keys. It's having worked in big tech a long time, like I see a lot of even the bigger companies and how much money and resources and time and people they need to hire to get this stuff correct. Or it's not even correct. It's like, security it's not something secure or not secure. It is how secure is it? How much time does it take to break it versus, is it practical? It's a total spectrum. So all these startups and all these smaller companies doing really hard things, such as keeping hardware wallets, the security up on them and stuff. It is not an easy feat. Not making any excuses for any of the stuff they do, but it is hard. And it's even if Microsoft or Google or somebody else tried to do a hardware wallet, they would have issues as well and have to work through those and really have to spend a lot of time to do it correctly because it's hard.
Completely agreed. Agreed.
So if you guys ever do a hardware wallet, it's be open for some. Hopefully, you'll be hiring a lot of people at that point because you'll need some definitely security and hardware guys on that one.
Exactly. We recognize that's a whole other. I mean, like you said, and we have Ledger, Trezor, and even some other smaller players in the space that are making good names for themselves. And so it's like maybe we just let them have that.
Yeah.
So,
it's a big baby to have.
Exactly.
Fox has a comment here too. That's something. So Aurochs wallet is this something you could compare Internet Money with that? There's probably a lot of people in the community have used one or used both. Is there some kind of key feature difference? And we'll go into a lot of mechanics later on, but just something off the top of your head when somebody's like, hey, why would I use Internet Money over Aurochs? Is there something that you tend to go with?
Sure. So first of all, you cannot download Aurochs on iOS. They're not listed there. And if you care about PulseChain, you wouldn't download Aurochs. Sure, they apparently have PulseChain as a native chain, but they're not a PulseChain centric wallet. So our wallet has everything you want for a PulseChain feature: logos of your favorite tokens, price tracking for all your tokens, preloaded tokens. PulseChain's preloaded. It's the native chain. And also, we share 100% of our fees. So by interacting with our wallet, if you hold our token, you can earn passive income in Pulse, ETH, BNB. Aurochs does not do that. You have to buy their token, which in order to unlock the feature to get the reduced fees cost about $800 right now at today's price. And finally, no shade thrown at Aurochs at all. Their founders don't even own crypto, and that is openly admitted by the founders. So you have non-crypto holding guys building a crypto product. I see a clear disparity there personally, but that's for you as the user to decide.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about Aurochs or otherwise. I don't use a lot of mobile wallets at all actually right now. I think I try to separate phone from crypto as much as I can. Although I would be open to using products at some point, but maybe on just like a separate phone. I feel like phones are one of those things. Again, security brain is like phone is just such an integral part of your life. It has your personal data and has all this stuff on it. You lose it, it's kind of like, I know there's PIN codes and passwords and stuff like that, but it's always that feeling of, it's like, would I put my wallet next to my my social security card information? Like that, it's so hard for me to like use these kind of mobile apps and kind of mix money with personal data and stuff. It's hard, but I mean, that's just my personal thing of, I think when I put stuff on mobile, I separate it from my own personal phone. For example, I'll put on a different phone and use it like that if I'm going to use it. So,
that's go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now that's a fair point. A lot of people make that distinction of, man, I do not put crypto on the mobile. So the way that I approach that is, I actually have a 2-tier system, so to speak. I have my vault crypto that takes way too long to get to, but I know is like maximum level security. And then on my mobile, which I do have crypto on a hot wallet, I look at it as the same thing as, like, if you're going to go out for a night on the town, how much cash are you going to put in your wallet? You're not putting your life savings in your 401k in your wallet. But man, if I'm out living my life and a unique opportunity opens up, I want the ability to react and respond. Not only from an investment buying and selling standpoint, what if I'm actually out there in the wild and somebody's willing to accept crypto for a good or service? I can't have a cold wallet offline. You've got to have moving crypto. And that's the distinction I make in my mind. If I got hacked for every penny of crypto in this hot wallet, yeah, I don't want to lose money, but it's not going to affect my life in a way that's detrimental.
Yeah, that is not putting your. And is that something? So when people use the app and stuff too, instead of putting their SAC wallet or their retirement fund wallet or whatever it is, can they just create a new wallet or import another wallet that they want to use as a hot wallet?
You can import your seed phrase and private keys into the Internet Money wallet. Yes, you do not have to create. You can, but you don't have to create new seeds or new private keys.
So there are a lot of people, for example, if they want to use the wallet. So that's the thing too, and I want to get into tokenomics in a bit too, but I'm just thinking, if you don't put that much into it, then how can you earn the different the passive income part? Like, how do you so like one way of looking at it is, okay, don't put a lot of money that you want to lose into a crypto wallet of any sort. But the other part is like, well, if you don't have it in there, how are you going to take advantage of some of the features the wallet would offer? Yeah, maybe we'll riff on that for a minute.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about how we designed our token. So owning and using the Internet Money wallet is not a requirement to earn the passive income that it generates. So the way that that's the dividend earning. Oh, sorry. In our system, earning the passive income, we call dividends, right? That's what it's called. So earning the dividends, you can use any wallet. You can use MetaMask. Now we don't want you to, but like, hey, if you want to earn the income, but you don't want to use the internet money wallet, that's fine. Because the way the time contract works is it distributes the dividends to the address holding the token. That's all it knows. It knows nothing else. So you never have to use the internet money wallet, and you can still benefit and earn the revenue.
Okay. So if you downloaded internet money, installed it, sent some money to it, started using it, but then you held the time somewhere else. So there's no benefit in holding time in internet money wallet. You could hold it in any wallet. The contract will still pay you the dividends, correct?
The only benefit, yes, the contract will still pay you the dividends. The only benefit right now to owning it in the internet money wallet, or, you know, holding it in there, you're never actually holding tokens in a wallet, but that's a different tangent. To hold, I'm using quotes, holding it in there is, you can see on this little screenshot, we have what's called the dividends tab. And it's actually an awesome user interface. It shows you how much time you have, how much you're earning, how much you have earned. It has all this really cool stats propagation, and it's the easiest way to claim your dividends. Now, you could still go directly to the Block Explorer and do it. Anybody else could spin up a front end and do it. But right now, using the wallet is the cleanest and easiest way to track, claim, and view all your stuff.
Gotcha. So I'll ask about the different components too. So there's the blockchain contracts. There's like the time contract that looks at people holding it, pays out the dividends. There's mobile app. There's browser extension. Is there any backend infrastructure that it uses to do things, or is everything's just the contract and apps?
Well, there is a lot of backend infrastructure.
Okay. How does that work? Yeah.
Well, each feature of the wallet leverages something, right? Like, all you're seeing in the wallet is an amalgamation of data or buttons that are calling something that's hosted either on chain. Like, for instance, in the screen you have here on the left where it says claim dividends, sweep dividends, on this screen, those buttons actually call a smart contract. Whereas on the next screen where you see all the prices and stuff for the accounts, that is referencing an API on Dex Screener. So it's like each little individual. Okay, and then we go over one more on the network screen. This right here is an internal backend server that we have that we're able to add and remove preloaded networks in. And so that's calling that piece of backend infrastructure. So every little thing you see is just a button, or pulling a button to something on a back end, or propagating data from a back end. That's the whole wallet. That's the whole piece of software.
Gotcha. Okay. And we talked about asking for some information on the security side too, because I was curious about audits and otherwise. So, and you pointed me to, I believe, what is it? Internet money. I'll go back to the website. I think it's, and then audits. So economic audits, looks like security audits of the Ethereum contract. Yeah, you want to go through the different. So we talked about the contracts, the different apps, the browser extension, and the mobile app, and then you have the internal backend infrastructure that lets you change and modify and provides different features of the wallet. So which parts of those have had audits, and the ones listed here would be relevant too?
So what you're seeing on our audits page, this is just the smart contracts. So we actually have 3 tokens, right? We can go into that if you'd like, but just keeping it high level, this is one of our tokens that you're looking at here. This is not the dividends yielding one, but all of our tokens, and they all have their own place. It's all this symbiotic organism of a software, but they all have security audits. Time, the one that yields you the dividends, actually has economic audits. And then our swap router, that is the smart contract that allows you to do in-app swaps, has also been security audited on those 3 chains. And actually, we just got the reports finalized for PulseChain as well. So the PulseChain reports they read exactly the same. So they're the same reports. They just say PulseChain. Those will be uploaded as well. As far as the wallet itself, right, the most important thing in a wallet that needs to be security audited and pen tested as well, penetration tested for those that don't know, is the seed phrase and private key generation and seed phrase and private key storage. That is the single most important feature. All this other pretty bells and whistles, awesome. If you don't have good seed phrase generation and storage and private key generation and storage, all the other bells and whistles are worthless, because what are you doing if people aren't as safe? And again, there's degrees of security, like you said, Max, whereas no soft wallet or hot wallet in this respect is going to be as secure as a hardware wallet. But there are even still degrees of security within the hot wallet space. And so we are attempting to be the most secure possible hot wallet. And so that was a long way to say that in the early stages of our public beta, we actually went through the first round of security audits for the seed phrase and private key generation and storage. And that was satisfactory to us. And still to this day, that's been about 8 months. We've had no incidents with private keys or seed phrases. And as we work up, we're in the final stages of public beta now, transitioning into version 1. We will have another round of security audits on that portion, but also the entirety of the wallet. And those reports will be made public as well for everybody to review themselves.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's depending on the different places where it lives, like a browser, when you're doing security testing on a Chrome extension versus a mobile app, it's very, very different. And then the security testing on the internal infrastructure is also a very different approach. But yeah, I mean, definitely key generation, super, super important. I was Googling too, because I remember I was like, okay, what are some wallet incidents or like publicly known stuff too? And I remember the Solana, the Slope wallets deal, which I thought I'd bring up here too, where it's been a long time since I looked at it, but it sounds like they were some of the traffic that was going back to their internal infrastructure contained, some seed words and other stuff like that, and they were logging that kind of stuff. So is this something that you all, your devs, your infrastructure people, stuff like that? I guess the question would be like, have you looked at the different types of things that happen other than private key generation, all this, to make sure that you all aren't going to repeat the same mistakes, and you're like taking precautions? Hey, don't be like Slope wallet, don't be like Atomic wallet, stuff like that.
Yes, and when a new wallet exploit occurs, we dive into it and we try to understand exactly how it occurred and exactly how we can prevent it from happening to ourselves. In the Slope wallet case, it was most likely an inside job. I know that sounds like, a conspiracy guy, but it's like, this doesn't happen on accident. Somebody put in this logic to send this information in a way to be nefarious with. That doesn't happen. Like for us, if you lose your seed phrase or private keys, if you even forget your password to log in, we have zero options to help you. We cannot help you. We can't change your password. We can't help you recover your seed phrase or private keys. It is physically impossible for us to do that. It is all stored and encrypted in AES 256 encryption method on your local device. And only by you typing in your password does it unencrypt that in order for you to access it. There is no internal relay. So now let's say this. Let's say one of our developers goes rogue. Oh, I'm putting in this nefarious piece of code and I'm sending it out there to wreck people. Okay. Every single developer that touches our wallet, that is on the wallet side of what we do, they're all United States based. We know their social security numbers. They're 100% doxed. We have NDAs. Our legal team they're vetted. It's completely, if something happens, we know it was one of X amount of people and we know where they live and who they are. So it's like, there's layers of accountability here that happen on our side. And then I'll take this time too, if you don't mind. I saw somebody in the comments said, do you report to the government? I love this question. No. And even if the government subpoenaed us right now, KG, we need all of your users' data, we would comply. You know why? We have no data to give them. We know nothing about any of our users. We don't know your IP. We don't know what device you're using. We know nothing about you. We track 0 bits of user data. Now we have one opt-in feature. If you go into settings, it's not on by default, it is off by default. You have to go into the settings and turn it on. You can send us crash reports, but it doesn't identify you in any unique way. It just tells us what happened and gives us an error code. So even if we got subpoenaed, gun to my head, KG, give me all the information, I have nothing to give. There is nothing to give. So I love that about what we do. We're being as true to DeFi as we can humanly possibly be.
Yeah, that's actually a great stance that we hope a lot of founders and product makers and stuff take, is don't collect the data. If you don't collect the data, you can't give it out.
Exactly.
You can't lose it.
Exactly.
You can't lose it,
Exactly.
and you can't be subpoenaed. So
exactly.
But I go back to what you said. You brought up another, like a fifth element to this that we haven't talked about yet, which is supply chain security, which is devs making commits. You said they're doxxed and you know who they are, so there's accountability on that part. But there's also the different ways of keeping them safe. Like, what if they get hacked? For example, is there like 2FA on the repos? Is there +1 checks where, okay, a commit goes in, you need someone else to actually look at it and make sure it's not malicious, just in case one dev gets hacked, stuff like that. Is that some of the, do you have any processes around keeping your dev safe in that way?
Just to summarize, just in respect to keeping them safe from not pushing malicious code.
Yeah, so I'm just going to throw out there. You have 5 devs, and one of them gets hacked, for example. Does internet money go to zero because now all the codes change because they put in one of these logic send me all your private key stuff to their server?
No, there are many. Okay, so there's a few layers of security there as well, and just for sanctity, I won't go into extreme detail, but there are layers of people that have to push code to repo, review code, approve code, and then even if the code gets pushed to the repo, it still doesn't matter, because in order to activate the code, in order for the end user, an update has to be pushed to the app stores. So even if somebody goes in and maliciously hacks our code and inputs all this negative stuff, we could still shut it off and not let that information, or code logic, leave the repo to the end user. So there are many degrees of, like, we can hit a kill switch, and the beauty of like GitLab and GitHub and the way that these code repositories work is every time a new thing is pushed, it's all iterative. So we could literally revert the repo back to an old state before any of that negative stuff happened.
Okay, yeah, separating the build process and having extra checks before it gets pushed to the app store, definitely a big thing. I mean, it's very common for products to be like, okay, before we push this big update, let's go review all the commits. Let's make sure that everything looks good, nothing looks too crazy, and then push out the new version. So yeah, interesting. It looks like you have a process around that too. Just one second, because I had other.
And actually, while you do, go ahead.
Go for it. I was updating something.
No, so someone here says, to my point about knowing the developers, that's meaningless. Are we going to individually sue them to recoup hacked losses? Well, that's a great point. Glad you brought it up. We would have to assess the damage at the time if something like that ever occurred, which we do not foresee that even being a possibility. But these individuals that are touching this code, again, living in the United States is very important, because if they were to do that, that would be a federal offense and they would serve prison time. So they're literally saying, hey, how much money is worth me spending a significant amount of time in prison? Because there's no secret. We're going to know who it is. So, that does help with accountability. Most people don't want to spend decades in prison, but that's just most people.
Accountability does keep people from doing that usually. Every once in a while. Yeah, it's a good point too. If you know who they are, if you have anonymous devs and stuff, it can be much more tempting if they had that in them in the first place. So
of course,
it's good. And then I was looking at the Atomic wallet because I forgot what happened here, but let's see. Oh yeah, so this was the infrastructure deal. So yeah, you were talking about if you don't keep the data. It sounded like there was ability for them to. I'm just speculating here based on what I'm thinking here. Maybe you have more information too, but it sounds like they were somehow able to manipulate the wallet or funds or get users to do things with their funds, with their wallet. And somehow that happened. So I guess the question too would be, is there on your infrastructure, the different features you support, is there, if somebody did just say, they hacked your servers, they got all full access to them, maybe they can't leak data and stuff, but could they make the wallet, make users do things that they weren't intended to do and kind of control things there? Like, how much control does the infrastructure have over the wallet itself? It could, how do you avoid being atomic wallet here?
So obviously I don't know exactly what happened in atomic wallet's case, but and to make and I will get to your question, I promise. But to make a blanket statement for all wallets, no wallet is unhackable. Internet money, even MetaMask. People say, oh, MetaMask has never been hacked. Do we actually know that for a fact? Maybe it just wasn't publicized. We don't know. No wallet or piece of software even. I mean, Sony got hacked by one dude named GeoHot, one little guy. Sony, one of the world's biggest corporations.
He's pretty awesome, GeoHot.
He is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just I was listening to him on Lex Friedman recently. He's recently in my mind. He's like Elon level guy. He's pretty cool.
He's the first person to unlock the iPhone.
Yep.
So it's like, that's one guy. Nobody is unhackable, and that's important. And I say, oh, why would a wallet founder ever say that? I want to deliver you objectively true information. You should always be careful when you're using hot wallets. Okay, with that disclaimer, in our case, I do not foresee a way that a hacker could retrieve private keys even from our server level. They could have full access to all of our servers. There is no relay of information from Internet Money wallet to Internet Money servers. There's no relay of information. So without writing new code and pushing a build to the app stores, I don't know how that could be possible. And in the meantime, and we're on this every day. So even if we were hacked, there would have to be so many layers of them getting our backup accounts and our backup accounts for our backup accounts. Because even if they hacked us, kicked us out, changed all the passwords, well, they would also have to hack our emails and our 2FA and our authenticator apps. Like, they would have to do all those things. And it's like, is it possible? Again, of course. Is it likely? I mean, is it probable or even realistic? Probably not, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just looking at even on this one, mitigation strategies. Choose reliable wallets. Prioritize wallets as strong track record and commitment to security. Look for platforms to offer best encryption. You talked about that. Is there 2FA on Internet Money?
Not yet, but that is an important feature, and we will have it.
Gotcha. 2FA cold storage option. Yep.
And actually, one thing with Atomic Wallet too, if I remember correctly, the wallet that got hacked was, I think it was their Chrome extension, and on their Chrome extension, whatever one it was, they only had 32-bit or maybe even 16-bit encryption on 12-word seed phrases. Okay, this is important, people. 12 or 36-bit encryption is not 12-word seed phrase, and 36-bit encryption is not great. Okay, we have 24-word seed phrases, which is greater for entropy and guessing the seed phrases. And we have 256-bit encryption, which to my knowledge is the greatest bit encryption attainable by a hot wallet. And we have double the words, which increases complexity of seeds if someone's trying to brute force or some computer algorithms trying to guess. So we are already, in terms of even that, like, oh yeah, Atomic Wallet, it's been around. It doesn't mean that they're the best. They just skated by. We're better than Atomic Wallet in that way. So it's like, you can look at us as like, hey, we're the new guys on the block, which is fair. But also you could be objective and say, it is better. There's one way to prove that.
And what is that? Just going back to the audits and stuff too. So again, we have them for the blockchain. We talked about the extension, the app, infrastructure. I guess what is the plan to? I know it's beta on the App Store and all this stuff too. You guys are probably working through different things on that side. But security wise, now that we talked about kind of the different aspects of it, do you have a plan to get, regular security audits, like just having, because a lot of times new products and stuff too, like, okay, we got one audit, but then now we change the app, we got all these new features, and you add more features, more attack surface, could be, needs more evaluation. What is your plan for security to cover the other aspects other than the smart contracts?
That is a very great point, and I'm glad you brought this up, because if you have an immutable smart contract with no admin keys, like for example, time, future, and internet money, the audits that are here, those are what they are forever. They're immutable, no admin keys. You never have to have them audited again. It is what it is, right? But a lot of people are also under the impression, hey, it's forked code from audited code. I don't have to audit it. Wrong. If human beings touch the code, it needs to be audited, period. Because human beings are the nefarious actors. They are the ones that do the bad stuff. I don't care if you fork the most secure thing in existence, you need to be security audited. So, yes, we're going to be security audited with our V1 release. Now, you enter into a weird space because you don't want to be so secure to the point where you're paralyzed, because that can happen. You can be so, it's, there's the security and the convenience spectrum, right? Where if you're ultimate security, you have zero convenience. And if you're ultimate convenience, you have zero security. So it's finding a balance of being as secure as possible and not paralyzing ourselves. So what we're thinking right now is that we will have an internal, security expert, which they do exist, right? You can hire them on like contractors. Again, it'll be doxed, all that stuff. And whenever we go to do app pushes, they can do like code diffing and security audit, those types of things. If we come out with any major features, like infrastructure changing features, maybe we go back to a security audit firm at that time. But then ultimately, we want to work up to an open source reality. So even though we're having our internal processes and we're having third-party processes, we want those peer review processes as well. So that's kind of our long-term plan, is have internal reviews, third-party reviews, and then eventually be open source and have that constant peer review.
Gotcha. Got one question on security here. If your parameters are so great, 24C, 256, why has nobody done it before? I don't know if did you say nobody did it before? Or you just said you're better than Atomic Wallet?
I said that it is the best possible way to do it, to my knowledge, in the industry. I cannot speak with certainty that nobody else has done it before, but I can say that MetaMask does not do it, Trust Wallet does not do it, and Atomic Wallet does not do it. And they probably do not do it because they chose more convenience and less security. It is easier to deal with 12 words than it is 24 words, but it is more secure to deal with 24 words than it is 12 words. And by that statement alone, that aspect of what we do, we are more secure than MetaMask, Trust Wallet, and Atomic Wallet. And that is a statement of objective truth.
Quite a few questions, Chad. I want to hold them for a minute, everyone. You can go ahead and put them in there. We'll get to them in a couple minutes. But I wanted to talk about the RH wallet, and if he's going to do it, will he do it, all that stuff too. And just in general, anyone else in the community creating wallets, there's some different projects floating around too that do different stuff. May not be like a full wallet, but I mean, there's different, I feel like there's only going to be, I mean, there's a lot of builders in the community. So I feel like there's going to be plenty of different options around and stuff like that. If RH decides to do a wallet, or if other builders decide to do products too, I guess, is there a plan to, I guess, what is the dominance plan for internet money? What is the way that you're like, okay, even if other people come on board and try to take some market share, like, we're still going to be the best? Have you thought about that?
Oh man, I'd love, my favorite topics to talk about. I'm glad you said it. So to take it down to a base level, a wallet, it doesn't matter if it's us building it or RH himself building it. All people building wallets are going to encounter the same issues, the same risks, And they're going to have human beings capable of mitigating those risks. Period. Doesn't matter how much money you have or who you are. Like you said earlier, if Microsoft or Amazon decides to do a wallet, they're going to have the same problems and the same risks that have to be mitigated. Doesn't matter who you are. RH, these other builders, they're building other amazing things. And good for them. I'm glad they are. But we are building one thing. A wallet. That is the very core of my existence as a professional in this society. I had a real estate business that I walked away from completely to focus on this wallet. Same thing with my team. They are dedicated and focused wallet developers. That's very important. We all only have limited time in the day. I'm a father and a husband as well. All of my creative brain power goes to this project. If anybody else does it, and this is not true for them, this is a side endeavor. Do you really want a product that is the most important aspect of what you do in crypto to be a side product, to be a second thought? And I lay awake in bed sometimes thinking, oh man, what about this, and this? Constantly thinking. So there's that. Also, we're the only wallet in existence. Now, back to the guy that asked, oh, if no one else is doing it, if you're doing it, so great. Why is no one else? Here's a statement of fact. Quote me on it. Clip it. We're the only wallet in the entire industry that's sharing 100% of its fees. 100% of revenue that internet money generates goes back to its holders. Clip it. Share it, please, because that's an awesome word. So if anybody else does it, they're going to have to be better than that, and they're going to copy us. We invented this model. We invented the only model that shares 100% of revenue. And then with all the other cool features too that we're going to keep innovating. But those 2 points right there, I think, are enough to keep us competitive with whoever builds a wallet. And RH, if he builds a wallet, it still doesn't matter, right? Great, he has a wallet. Let's say the PulseChain community, 300,000 strong, okay? Rough numbers. If every single user on PulseChain uses RH wallet only and doesn't touch internet money, which mathematically will not occur. It's mathematically not going to happen. But if it does, there's still 8 billion people on the face of the planet, most of which don't even know about PulseChain, don't know any other wallet, don't care. We are a multi-chain wallet. We're out there all day, every day, interacting with all these other blockchains. So there's plenty of market share already in the crypto space, but also that hasn't even heard about anything that's going on. There is no real competition. So we're not concerned in the slightest if RH or anybody else build a wallet, because we're here to compete. And I'm going to say this, and I mean this, we will be the best wallet in the game. And RH, much love. Thanks for building PulseChain. We will be better than the RH wallet, because nobody is as dedicated to building a perfect product than the internet money team. This is our life.
Well, I think definitely the being multi-chain and stuff too is a great entrance to using the wallet. And if RH builds one, it's going to be a PulseChain focused one. So that's definitely one advantage I can see there is appealing. And again, the pie is so large. This is not like a abundance versus scarcity mindset.
Exactly.
The pie is large. Like you said, there's a lot of people who haven't even got into crypto yet. And especially if they're not even interested in PulseChain, why would they use a PulseChain wallet, for example? However, obviously, a lot of people interested in PulseChain are going to want to use that vertically integrated RH product. They, all that stuff. They're going to be very interested in that. But definitely see wallets that have all these features and support multi-chain being just a onboarding ability is pretty strong. Looks like, and the more users to grow into. Go ahead.
No, so I was going to say, RH has not had PulseChain or PulseX security audited, which is not necessarily something I fully agree with. And so I hope that if he does the wallet, he doesn't follow that suit, because that's not great practices.
I think the point there would be, I mean, yeah, there's been changes and stuff that weren't on, and we saw that with V2 and V1 and V2 with PulseX too.
Yep.
I think what he's been relying on is the audits of the code that's already been forked. And then, of course, yeah, there's been changes. Yes, those should have audits and stuff too. But I think, you know, even with a wallet, if he forks MetaMask, for example, he's probably going to say, well, MetaMask, we've already piggybacked on all the security work they've already done. And then hopefully there'll be a plan to, you know, continuously audit and monitor the infrastructure and everything that goes with that. Yeah, PulseX is more than a smart contract too. That's as we got into with internet money. So. But I imagine that's what he'll say. Already been audited a while, but hopefully he'll have a solid security plan for it too. This one, though,
so.
Yeah, this one, yeah. Just speaking of, you know, the time and effort and the dedication and stuff with the wallet too. What do you think? This question: what is the greatest weakness? We talked about some of the strengths too, but like, what is something that, you know, we in the forward looking for security? You talked about doing more. Or having more of that, maybe when you get close to the out of beta stage and more of that too. But what is the things that you believe that are just not, you know, we can look at PulseX and say, oh, this thing's not polished quite yet. What about internet money? When you look at it, is there things where you say, we're not there yet, but something we're working on even outside of security?
I mean, yeah, man, I really want to be out of beta. I really don't want to be in beta anymore.
What does it take to do that?
Well, we have an internal list of tasks that we're plugging away at. And basically, we're not adding any new features. I mean, we're doing little tweaks and stuff, but we're not adding any new features. We're just cleaning up bugs and just weird little quirks that are happening. Because like we've already discussed, once you submit for that security audit and you release a security audited version, you've got to move a little slower. And so we're taking the time while we're in beta, while we can be reactive to make all these little changes. And so it's like, you know, we've been in beta for like 8 months now. And I initially didn't expect it to take that long. I'm kind of glad it did, right? You know, because it's given us a lot of time to really refine. But I would say that is our biggest, like, we all want to be out of beta. The community wants to be out of beta. Team wants to be out of beta. V1 is like, that changes everything.
2 more weeks. Sounds like just
2 more weeks.
Hang in there. Yeah. I'm just going to go through questions here too. I'd love to see a crypto wallet use multiple chains. Is that internet money? Like, I guess what are the chains it supports? Does that fit this description?
Oh, I see. So on the internet money wallet, you can access all EVM chains. So any chain that you're used to accessing through MetaMask, you can access on the internet money wallet. If it's a non-EVM chain, like here he puts XRP, XLM, I don't know ICP, but at least those two, those are not EVMs. You will not be able to access those on the internet money wallet yet. We do want to extend into the non-EVM reality. We're just not there yet.
So the question I didn't ask is internet money a fork of MetaMask, or is it built from the ground up?
Built from the ground up.
Okay.
There's actually some limitations with forking MetaMask. One that we ran into and seemed legitimate. I mean, you'd obviously probably have to get attorneys involved to verify that, but there is a 10,000 user limit on forked MetaMask software. So that's still to be verified, but that was like in the beginning, there was 2 things. Like, A, we wanted to own all the intellectual property of what we built, but B, it was like, man, if that's even a possibility at only 10,000 people, that's why I'm wondering, because RH did say in the beginning that he was forking MetaMask. I wonder if he encountered that same thing. Because if that's true, well, then, I mean, that's a huge obstacle. Obviously, you need more than 10,000 users. So, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Maybe, I'm sure somebody will come up with a challenge or figure that out, because I'm sure there's plenty of, I haven't Googled, but I imagine there's already a ton of MetaMask forks out there, but whether they're considering that or not, or I feel like that's going to get figured out eventually. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear the result. Let me know if you hear any updates on that too.
I actually don't know of any MetaMask forks. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just don't know. I just don't know of a wallet that has said we are a fork of MetaMask. You know,
I feel like they would be forking like Dex. I imagined, like Meta. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
SetoMask. I feel like there's a few, but how popular they are, no idea. Yeah, I mean, I figure, is that going to be the next season? Forking DEX season will be next forking wallet season. You never know. Never know. Yeah, I mean, this one's just, nobody seems to be using that one. Why we didn't fork MetaMask? Yeah, some people talk about why they didn't fork it. MetaMask, I'm curious. This one, yeah, that one hasn't been updated for a long time, although very popular apparently. Okay, interesting. Just curious on that.
Nice.
Let's see. Just scrolling through chat. Sorry, not going to get to all questions today, everyone, but I want to get to a few. So Anthony asked, download the Chrome extension, ask for reading my password every time I interact with the mini wallet closes. Is this feature permanent? Can be turned on and off?
I know what you're talking about. So if you click, like when you click the Chrome extension and it pulls up in the little window, we want to make it to where it's like anchored to the screen is what he's talking about. For now, if you expand the wallet into its own tab, which you can do, it will not close on you.
Gotcha. Hopefully that helps, Anthony. Charity asks, what is future?
So, okay. We had 2 sacrifices for our project. The first sacrifice was for time on PulseChain only. And so that means holding time, you earn passive income in the form of Pulse. Our second sacrifice was for time on Ethereum and Binance, so to earn passive income in ETH and BNB. And then that's when we introduced a second token called Future. And the reason we introduced Future is because that second sacrifice was for all future EVM chains. So let's say when we launch time on another chain, let's say we launch it on Phantom Opera. If you're holding Future, you're going to get a 1-to-1 airdrop of time on that chain. So holding Future, you get airdrops of time. Holding time, you get passive income from the wallet on that chain. And it's only the Future on Ethereum. It got copied over to PulseChain, but it's only the Future on Ethereum.
Is this Sage Green had a comment? Does that sound accurate?
Auto-generate DEX yield. Yeah. And just to clarify, though, we do not have a DEX. We aggregate 2 DEXs. So, like, for example, if you're on PulseChain in the Internet Money Wallet and you swap within the wallet, you're swapping on PulseX.
Gotcha. Don't like doing crypto on phones, wallet. So there's the browser extension. Sounds like you can use it on desktop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad you don't have an Electrum wallet, because security-wise, there are a ton of gotchas using Electrum. And if I just type in, I'm just going to type in Electrum wallet exploit. There's plenty of people who have been using Electrum for wallets, and there's all this like desktop and all this technical nerd stuff we could talk about, but it's hard to get that correct using Electrum wallets. So
sure.
Glad that's not a worry on your list right now.
Yes, it is not a worry. And the browser extension is really nice because it's not, device specific. As long as you're using Chrome on a PC or Mac or a Linux, you can do it.
Do you, Red Bull, Green Bear, do you have shareholders or you privately held? What conflict of interest might you have with the back end compromise principles, thinking in Infura? Yeah. So look at the Infura angles. And yeah, maybe you can describe too, do you have Infura type infrastructure plans for it, or currently is that tied into your internal infrastructure or not?
So Infura is an RPC node, which allows you to access the chain. So it's kind of like middleware, I guess you could say. Yeah. We do not leverage Infura in the app. All of the preloaded chains are the most commonly used RPC node or endpoint, I guess, is Anchor. And they do not collect IPs. But here's the beautiful thing. You can add custom RPC settings. So like, let's say you don't want to leverage Anchor. Okay. Well, you can just add it. You can add whatever you want. That's a beautiful thing, is if you use, and yes, it's maybe a little more of an advanced user thing, but we'll have tutorials and stuff for you. So you'll be able to completely use and customize whatever middleware you feel comfortable with. As far as the shareholders, so we are a company, right? Our company, you can see on the app stores here, is Decentralized Innovations. And there are two shareholders. There is myself and there is Don. And it's not the smart contracts, right? The tokens themselves, nobody owns those. The blockchain owns those. So it's like there's no shareholders there. But as far as the company, yes, there is us too. And we're the only shareholders there. Now, he says to compromise our principles. Well, that's the beautiful thing about everything we've built is we've given you access to securely store your own private keys and seed phrase. Our smart contracts are on the blockchain to where anybody can build the front end to them. So if you are following good practices, even if we get completely shut down in the future, you're unaffected. You have your tokens, you have your contracts, you have your keys, you can migrate. So it's almost even in that realm, no risk.
Hugh Hafner, welcome, Hugh. Which auditing platform will time be audited on?
It has been audited by Certic.
Yeah, I think this is one of them that was here. Yeah, if you go to the audits page, I'll drop this in the chat. People can check it out.
Yeah, and that's for Ethereum, Binance, period. We're uploading the PulseChain audits of these contracts soon. We have them. They're finished. We just have to upload them. They're exactly the same. It's just a name change.
Gotcha. What does beta mean? How does it change with V1? I think you covered that a little bit, but just at a high level, beta versus release, I think there's a couple comments too of like, don't put anything on here that you aren't willing to lose. And not that that's a security concern, but it's just kind of like a general saying in crypto too. But is there any nuance between the beta and any improved security in V1 other than, audits? Sounds like that's on the list.
Really, that's the only major difference is when we say it is V1, that means, hey, here's the public audit available and the security audit is satisfactory. Beta, what it means for the user, no, it's not testnet. It is if you are on Ethereum or PulseChain in the wallet, you are interacting with real money on real mainnets. So it's not like a testnet thing. It's just for all intents and purposes, it just means the final version 1 security audit is not complete, but the entire wallet feature set is usable, accessible.
Okay. One more question here from Charity. The other half of my question: what are the rules to claim all dividends? Is it time? Why just sweep?
So there is 2 functions when it comes to the time contract. When the revenue is generated, it happens at the level of the swap. Let's use PulseChain, for example. That pulse is stored in the swap router contract. And then in order to bring it over to the time contract, in order to actually claim it and put it in your wallet, it has to be swept. That process is called sweeping. The cool thing about sweeping is when one person sweeps, it sweeps for everybody. It brings over all the dividends. So if you're like, hey, I don't want to pay for a sweep, just give it some time. Somebody's going to sweep. It's going to happen. It's been happening every day. Now, when you claim, that means those dividends have actually hit the time contract and they have been credited to your address. And you are claiming only what you have earned. So when you claim, you only claim for yourself. And that's really the difference.
One last question here from Red Bull Green Bear. Can we use internet money on the same Chrome profile we have MetaMask on? Do you need to generate a new profile? Also, is it Brave supported?
Yes, you can use internet money on the same Chrome profile that you're using MetaMask. One thing that I will say there is I have many Chrome profiles, but for testing purposes, one of them I do have both MetaMask and internet money on. And sometimes I get weird little quirks when connecting to dApps. Like sometimes I think it gets confused about which Web3 object to reference. So if you notice any weird quirks and you're using internet money and MetaMask on the same profile, isolate that variable first. If you want to separate them and just use them both independently, a new Chrome profile, very easy to create. Yes, that would work. And is it supported on Brave? Yes, you can download it on Brave. But the reason that we don't really advertise it as being a Brave extension is because we're not natively building for Brave. It just gets the updates because Brave forks Chrome. So yes, it works, but like if there's any, again, weird issues or quirks, we're not individually fixing those for Brave yet. We're just focusing on Chrome. So if you notice anything weird on Brave, well, that's just going to be it for now.
Yeah, it's if you want to be a dog on the internet, make sure you have another profile. I know KG is probably hit that angle too. He likes to trade internet money with other canines and stuff like that. So it's a huge community out there. You know, they have dog parks. We have dog chat rooms. You know, oh man, am I the only one that participates now?
Man, you spend too much time in the dog parks, man. Come on.
Oh, the dog parks there. I don't. I like dogs. They're other people's dogs, so I'm not a big dog guy. But other people, I can pet them, I can see them, I can talk to them. They're fun.
Sure. Just like, yeah, sure. It's like kids, you know. Most people just like, hey, I'm the uncle. Right? I mean, I have kids myself, but like for the uncles out there, I get it. You know, you want to go in, be cool uncle. You want to get out. Got it.
Yep, that's true. All right, man. Great conversation. What do you want to take us out on? What anything? Oh, somebody had a comment about how do you stay positive in the bear market. Forgot that I was going to bring that up too. So maybe that's something you can talk about too with prices go down sometimes. How do you keep yourself in shape when we haven't went to the moon? If and will we ever do?
Funny thing is, I go full weeks without even looking at prices. I kind of forget that we invest in this industry. And now, yes, I do look at prices. I am invested. Of course, I want number to go up. But for us, it's really very easy because our nose is to the grindstone. We're building, we're marketing, we're communicating, we're working always. So it's like for us, we kind of don't even notice it. And that's my bullishness and motivation is at an all-time high. I don't even feel the bear market blues. Now, I get that some people who aren't in the position to be building, that's not relatable. So my advice to those people would be find something in crypto that inspires you that's not prices, because I think most people can acknowledge that, you know, part of why they like crypto is the game theory or the creativity or the artistry or whatever, right? Make something, build something, even if that's a YouTube channel or you're making t-shirts. Max makes great t-shirts. Whatever it is for you, just find some way to stay creatively involved. And then you'll notice, and keep faith in the industry. If you believe the industry will recover, the bear market is only temporary. And I personally have zero doubt that crypto bounces back, or does not bounce back, rather, because it just, this is going to be a weird word. Not many people know this word. The egregore, that's a real word, I promise, of crypto is so big and so powerful that I don't think it's in a position to fail at this time.
BlackRock just filed an ETF, so that if the world didn't see that and understand that governments aren't just going to ban crypto, I feel like that could be something
Exactly.
you can interpret as positive, whether or not you like BlackRock or institutions coming in or otherwise. It's a legitimizing thing.
Exactly.
Take it that way, at least.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, I tell people too, just if you aren't relying on green candles to feel good, then when red candles come, maybe you won't feel as bad. If you don't need green candles, just like, we don't want, or a lot of people, I imagine, don't want red candles. I don't want red candles. But when they come, it's like, okay, that's how it goes, up and down. But when green candles come, I try to also be temperamental. I try not to be like, oh, this is something I'm always waiting for. It is when it comes. If it comes, when it comes, it's great. But if you don't have a strong reaction to either one, if you try to stay temperamental, if you try to stay like, okay, whatever your plan is, it's good. Green, red, sideways, it's fine. Then you may not have strong reactions when it does something you don't like either. So that's how I try.
That's very good advice. Very good advice. Don't peg your emotional stability to the candles. And if you are pegging your emotional stability to the candles, you're probably overly leveraged and you need to calm down a little bit. It is gambling. It's all gambling, people. Don't gamble what you can't afford to lose.
Very good, man. Well, good to have you back. Glad we got to go through a lot of the internet money stuff and wallets in general and talk about security. It's always a fun topic for me too. And yeah, thanks for coming back on. It was good to hear from you, and definitely excited to see the rest of this year, what happens in the industry at large, and all the different stuff launching, and internet money version 1 coming out at some point as well, and all the cool security stuff that's happening with that.
Yeah, Max, and I want to say truly appreciate you always giving us a voice, always asking the great questions. This is I don't think I've dove as deep into into security as I have on this stream. So that was really awesome to have the opportunity to talk about that aspect of what we're doing. And if anybody has any more questions, I mean, the website's right here on screen, internetmoney.io, our Telegram community. You can hit join our community at the top of the website at internetmoney.io. We're constantly talking. So if you want to come in there and talk crypto, talk internet money, talk security, we're all about it. And again, man, I appreciate you having me on and everything you do for crypto in the community.
Of course, man. Appreciate you too. Yeah, thanks for. I try to have utility and try to put my skill sets where they work best in this community. It gives me a place to give people voices and share the thoughts and ideas and things that I'm looking at too. So very fun. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Scivive and 5555. We are out.